Welcome back to my channel. My name is Aria, and today I'm going to be sharing life-changing advice. I'm sharing advice that will change your life, and that is not an exaggeration. I wish I knew these things earlier to protect my peace, have stronger boundaries, and just be easier on myself. This video was supposed to be 22 things I learned in 22 years because I just turned 23. The advice that I wrote down, I was like, wait, I should title this differently because this is actually really good and I'm sure a lot of people might need to hear this. So let's start. Number 1, no one is going to help you but you. No one is going to help you but you. If you want something to happen in your life, if you want change to happen, you can't just sit there and wait for it to fall in your lap. You have to go and get it. And you can't just sit there and be like, well, I'm manifesting. It doesn't work like that. You have to take steps, you have to take action and start doing things in order for something to happen. Obviously, your family might help you, your friends might help you with something, but at the end of the day, if you want to accomplish something in your career or you want to get an education or I don't know, you want to do something big, you can't expect someone to do it for you. You have to do it yourself. Number 2, this is something that I still struggle with, but number 2 is you don't have to be the best, but you should try your best. I'm a perfectionist, and growing up, my mom always told me, whatever you do, be the best at it. And that kind of backfired a little bit because I was always scared of trying new things or doing things because I didn't want to fail. Like in my mind, I had to be good at it immediately, which is not how a lot of things work. You have to suck at something first to be good at something. You know, do the best you can, but don't feel like you have to be the best all the time because that definitely puts a stop on making progress. Number 3, people who talk behind other people's back in front of you talk about you to other people. I'm gonna repeat that again, okay? Let it sink in. People who talk behind other people's back in front of you talk about you to other people. If you're around people who gossip about others or like a specific one person all the time to you, you cannot trust those people. Those are negative people looking for drama, looking to stir the pot. And it sucks when you're around them and you can't really change the environment, but all you can do is just keep to yourself and just ignore it and not engage with that kind of behavior. Because negative people will just always be negative people. You can't trust people who are constantly being negative about things or about someone. It's just how it is. And it's a hard truth to accept, like, oh, this person would never talk bad about me. No, they would. They would. Sometimes people are just flat out mean and want to cause drama. That's just how it is. Number 4, you don't have to like someone to be nice to them. All throughout different jobs I've had, where I don't like a certain person because of how they act or their personality or whatever. And it's not that they did anything rude to me, it's just I don't like them as a person. But that doesn't mean that I have to be mean to them. You know, you should treat everyone with kindness unless people are like actually being rude to you. Number 5, this kind of ties into number 2, but number 5 is giving 50% effort is better than giving 0. If you're wanting to go to the gym and you're being like really active about it and you're doing really well, and then one day it's like, oh, I don't feel that great, or like I don't really feel like going. If you just sit there and feel guilty about not going, that's worse than going and just working out for 10 minutes. Like you don't have to do a full hour and a half workout. Just be there for 10 minutes. Just walk on the treadmill. Number 6, being lonely is a good thing. As someone who has felt lonely kind of their whole entire life, is just a feeling I deal with, it's honestly not bad. And I know it sucks, but it's actually a good thing because it forces you to be alone with yourself and get to know yourself better. Let's say you have FOMO. You know, everyone's going out without you and you feel lonely. Being alone and feeling lonely gives you the chance to really have an introspective look on yourself, on your surroundings, and just take time and really soak in how you're feeling and just get to know yourself better. Being lonely is not a bad thing. Being lonely has really taught me throughout my teenage years how to know myself even better, like, than anyone. And being lonely gives you the chance to try something new, watch a new show, start baking or something. Like, it's not a bad thing. And people feel lonely sometimes. There are a lot of people out there who feel lonely all the time. Like, I'm just kind of one of those people as well. I look at it in a more positive light. It gives me the chance to just keep getting to know myself better. Number 7, nothing lasts forever, so be ready for change. And some people might look at this more positively, some people might look at this more negatively. I try to look at it more positively. For example, when I was going through a really rough time in 2020, very rough time. I was so depressed. I literally ended up in the psych ward. I thought nothing would ever get better. My life would always be like this. I was just so lost. I was at such a low point in my life, the lowest point ever. Until now, fast forward 4 years later, I moved, I graduated college, I graduated a tattoo apprenticeship. I'm a tattoo artist, which is crazy because I've always wanted to do that. I live with an amazing roommate. I've met so many cool people. Like, my life has just changed for the better. It's just a beautiful thing knowing that if you are going through a rough time, it will not last forever. That also applies to the highs of life. That also won't last forever. You need to experience the lows in order to appreciate the highs. You just have to appreciate the cycle of life. That's just how it is. Number 8, loving someone is never a waste. I dated a specific person for 3 years and we were on and off and we fought so much. At the end of it, he ended up ghosting me and he found a new girl and started dating her 2 weeks after. And I felt like I was just thrown away. As soon as I was replaced, I was like, oh my God, I feel used. A few months later, I went through another breakup and it was just so hard. That year was so emotional for me. But I realized the time and energy that I spent loving that person, giving gifts to those people, was not a waste. Loving someone is never a waste because in that moment, you are sharing such a vulnerable and caring emotion. And there's nothing embarrassing and there's nothing wrong with that. Do I regret all the love that I gave to those people? No, because in that moment, it made me happy and I do not regret that. So even if you feel like this person threw me away, this person cheated on me, this person did this, did that, but loving them was not a waste, I promise you, because love is a beautiful emotion and it came out of you in a pure way. It was a pure emotion. Maybe other people might think, oh, loving is such a waste. It is never a waste, I promise you. It is a beautiful emotion that you gave to someone else, and in that moment, it felt right. Set boundaries for yourself, even if you come across as boring or mean. I was always a people pleaser. I was always a, okay, yes, sure, I'll do it. In the past couple of years, I've realized that drains me so much, literally so much. I started being more careful with how I give my energy away. I was like, you know what? No, I don't want to go out tonight. I don't want to go to a bar tonight. No, I don't want to go here. And if I would promise something, I usually tried to live up to it. If I'm unsure about something, I'm not going to promise something. I'm going to be like, look, I'm feeling tired. I don't know if I want to go out. Let me think about it. And that way you don't feel trapped into going out or doing something. I've had friends that are like, oh, come on, like, let's just go. And I'm like, dude, no. I just got off work. I've been tattooing for like 5 hours. My back hurts like I don't want to go. I just want to sleep. And those so-called friends would be like, ugh, whatever, you're so boring. Okay, so be it. So be it if people think you're boring or people think you're lame. The same applies if like you're going out with your friends and they all want to drink and you don't want to drink. And they're like, oh, come on, just have a little drink. And you're sticking to your boundary of no, I don't want to drink. And they're like, oh, you're so boring. First of all, those are not real friends. Second of all, so what if you're boring? You're making the best decision for you, and not for anyone else. It does not matter if those people think you're weird or boring or whatever. Set boundaries for yourself and you will be much happier that you're living life on your terms rather than someone else's. All right, number 10. You are the only person who knows yourself best. So be kind to yourself. You're the only person that will really 100% know you. Not a lover, not a friend, not even a parent, okay? You are the one who knows your feelings and your thoughts at all times. You have to be kind. You are like the only person in this whole entire universe that will know yourself the best. And if you're not kind to yourself, that is a waste of time. Okay? You have to take care of yourself mentally, physically. You literally have to pour love into yourself. And I know that's hard, but think of it this way. You're the only person that can really, really do that. So be kind to yourself and make sure that you're loving yourself. Number 11, failing means you tried. Trying is better than staying stagnant. This kind of ties into one of like the other points that I made, but failing means you tried something. You did it. You took action. You're not just sitting there and waiting for something to fall into your lap. You tried. And that's admirable. But being scared of failure and just like sitting around, that's not admirable. That's cringe. The fact that now I'm like starting to really post YouTube videos in 2024. And you know, I've tried multiple YouTube channels. They were really fun, but I got a lot of backlash from like parents or friends, and people would tell me like, oh, it's a waste of time or whatever. At least I tried. At least I really put effort into something. And it was never a waste of time because I always learned something from it. Like, even if you fail at something, you will always learn from it. But if you're just sitting there and you're scared of failing, okay, well, how are you gonna succeed if you don't fail first? You have to fail first to succeed. You have to suck at something in order to be good at something. Period. Period. That's just the truth of it. Like, unless you're a genius, unless you're a prodigy. For example, drawing. I've been drawing my whole entire life, but I was not good at it at first. It was a passion, but I was not good at it at first. Or someone who goes to the Olympics. Do you think they made it to the Olympics by being amazing right off the bat? It took so much training, so much failure, so many tears from that person to get to the Olympics. They probably failed 100 times before seeing one win, or landing a jump, or winning a competition. That's just how it is. You have to fail before you succeed. Number 12. People who judge you for trying new things often feel miserable or insecure about themselves. I'm gonna say that one again, okay? People who judge you for trying new things often feel miserable or insecure about themselves. If you're having people tell you, oh, trying that thing is like a waste of time, or are you sure you can do that? Like, I don't think you can. I've had people tell me right now, like, ugh, you're starting a YouTube channel? That's kind of cringe. You're like, you're talking to a camera. Yes, I'm talking to a camera. And what about it? I'm sorry you're boring. I'm sorry you're like not doing anything else with your life. I don't know. Trying new things is never embarrassing. Like, and if people are judging you, so what? If people are judging you, that means you might be doing something right. That's all I'm saying. Number 13. Oh my God, I still struggle with this one. Not getting an apology is closure. Not getting an apology is closure. It literally tells you that person does not give a and that's okay. You know why? Move on. Just move on and forget that person ever existed. They're dead. They're gone. Graveyard. That is a form of closure. Not getting an apology, that's a big slap in the face, and that should tell you a lot about that person. Number 14, the only person you should be competing against is yourself. I hate to admit it, but I am a very competitive person. It's hard to not compare myself, especially in my line of work. I'm a tattoo artist, and so I always want to be improving. I always want to be better than I was last time. And sometimes it can be kind of discouraging when I'm not at the level I want to be, and I'm looking at other people and I'm like, ugh, I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that. But then I look at how far I've come in less than a year and I'm like, oh my God, I've made so much progress. And that's what you should be looking at. You should be looking at how far you've come, the progress you've made, not at where someone else is at. They can be a source of inspiration, but it should not be a form of comparison. You should be comparing your work to your work, yourself to yourself. Number 15, resting is not a bad thing. I have an issue with trying to relax and just like put on a TV show and just sit there. I cannot do that. I feel like I always have to be working towards something. I have to be drawing. I have to be making YouTube videos. I have to be making TikToks. I have to be posting on Instagram. I have to be reading. I have to be bettering my life somehow all the time. And that's how you get burnt out. Probably why I always feel tired mentally. Maybe it's the depression. Resting is not a bad thing. And you need to rest in order to be productive. You need to recharge your batteries in order to be at a full battery level to do whatever it is you want to do. And so if you struggle with that, just know it is okay to just sit there and do nothing for hours. Now, obviously, if you're sitting there and doing nothing for hours all the time, that's bad. But what I'm saying is if you're an overworker, it's okay to just relax, take things slow, don't look at your phone, don't go on Instagram, just sit there. Sit there with yourself. Play a video game. Sometimes I hate playing video games because I feel like I'm wasting time. I'm like, why am I working in this video game when I could be working in real life? Anyways, resting is not a bad thing. Number 16. This is kind of the same thing as number 1. But number 16 is, if you want something, go after it. Not everything can be given to you. I think that just kind of speaks for itself. You are the only person that can really make things happen. If you want something, go after it. I have known a couple people that always complain about their life, their job, and it's like, okay, then do something about it. Like, you have the power to. You absolutely have the power to. Get a new job. Do something that you're passionate about. Don't just sit there and be like, oh, I hate my life. Like, why can't it be different? If you have the power to change it, change it. Number 17, don't feel guilty about doing what's best for you. And this ties into setting boundaries for yourself. If you don't feel like doing something, you don't have to do it. If you don't feel like going out, you don't have to do it. If you found a better job offer, but you're like, oh, how can I leave my coworkers and my boss? Like, they're gonna be mad, or like, oh, they're gonna give me a hard time. So you found a better offer for you. You are the main character of your life. So treat yourself like it, you know? Like, if you find a better option, a better situation for yourself, put yourself there and don't ever feel bad for doing so. And I'm not saying to like walk on other people and take advantage of people and be selfish all the time. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, don't feel bad if an opportunity presents itself and then you take it. Number 18, struggling with mental health does not make you less worthy than someone who doesn't. As someone who struggles with mental health, I always used to compare myself to people who like don't struggle with mental health issues. I'm like, wow, your life must be so easy. Like, and I would get jealous of those people, especially in high school, because I'm like, it must be nice to not feel like your brain just wants the worst for you all the time. That doesn't make you any less of a person. You're like, oh my gosh, what if people think I'm like weird, or what if people think I'm like not as good as them because I struggle like mentally, like I just don't feel good all the time on the inside. That does not make you less than at all whatsoever. Mental health is a thing that should be talked about more all the time. And luckily in the past couple of years, it has been. I feel like we still need to keep talking about it. And there's a lot of people out there like on TikTok or whatever, or even Instagram, that'll be like, just drink some lemon water and do some yoga in the morning and cut out sugar and, you know, you'll be happy. Girl, I wish it was that easy. Struggling with mental health does not make you less than. I pinky promise. I pinky promise. Number 19, you can't change the past, but you can learn from it. There have been certain situations where I've done something that I feel guilty about, or I still think about, and I'm like, I can't change that, but I can become a better person from it. Or something may have happened to you, and you're like, oh my gosh, why did this happen to me? Life isn't about what happens to you, it's about how you go about it afterwards. It's about how you carry yourself afterwards. And it's a harsh truth, but it is your responsibility to pick yourself up, even if something happened to you that like you had no control over. It is your responsibility. And sometimes I don't even like thinking about that, because I'm like, ugh, why does it have to be my responsibility? Ow, I just hit my arm. I'm like, why does it have to be my responsibility? Why did that thing have to happen to me? I don't know why it happened to you, but you are in charge of your life. So you have to pick yourself up and keep going. If you're guilty about things that you did in the past, all you can do is just learn from it and be better. Number 20, the universe is greater than we can ever imagine. Don't sweat the small stuff. And I like to think about this when I'm feeling really anxious or I'm just worried about things that are out of my control. But the universe is so freaking huge. There's billions of people on this planet with their own lives, with their own struggles, but we're literally floating in space. Stop worrying about the small stuff. Like, I promise you, everything will be okay. Everything will be just fine. Mwah. 21. People won't always like you, and that's okay. You have to accept that sometimes you're just not people's type. They might think you're annoying, they might think you're weird, they might think you're too extra or you're not interesting enough. Okay, so be it. You'll find people out there who like you for you. You shouldn't have to try and impress anyone or be like stressing over the fact that someone doesn't like you, because who cares? As long as you like yourself and you are comfortable in your skin, there's nothing wrong with you, I promise. And it's okay if people don't like you. There's people that I don't like. Like, you're not gonna like everyone, so how do you expect people to like you all the time? You know what I mean? It's okay. I promise. You don't have to impress everyone. And 22, the last piece of advice. Be kind, including to yourself, no matter what. Even if you are on the verge of a mental breakdown because you hate looking at yourself in the mirror, please be kind to yourself, because this is the only body you will have for your whole entire life. Even if you believe in like reincarnation, you're gonna get a different body, you're gonna be a different person. But this is who you are in this lifetime. So be kind to yourself. I'll give you an example. I have struggled with acne ever since I was 12 years old. And you can't really tell because I wear a lot of makeup every single day, but my skin is not looking too hot. And I've gone to dermatologists. I've tried all the acne medicines there are, you name it. I've been on Accutane, and it's just something I still struggle with. And there are certain days where I just feel so depressed about my skin. I don't even want to look at myself in the mirror. I just want to stay in a dark room and not be perceived. But even in those hard moments, you have to love yourself. You have to be like, I'm still beautiful with any issues that I have. I'm still beautiful despite what society thinks about me. I'm still beautiful despite not fitting standards that society has moved on to. Be kind to yourself if you're having a bad mental health day. Be kind to yourself if you feel like the world hates you and you're not good enough. Be kind to yourself if someone did something mean to you or backstabbed you, whatever. You are the only person that knows yourself best, and you are the only person that can be so kind to yourself that you feel nothing but love. Anyways, that is the end of this video. I hope these pieces of advice help you and kind of awaken something in you. You know, maybe there was one number that really spoke out to you. And if there was, definitely comment below which piece of advice really spoke out to you and why. And, you know, if you're struggling with something, feel free to talk about it in the comments, and maybe other people who read can offer each other advice or support or whatever. And just know that you were never alone, but you are also a badass who can get up and do whatever they want and accomplish so many things in life because you have the power to, and you are amazing. Mwah! Bye!